Hey, welcome to Models and Agents, episode 13 for March 12th, 2026, your daily briefing on the AI models and agents that are changing everything. And no, not those kinds of models and agents. Let's get into it. Nvidia plans $2060 investment in open-weight AI models to counter Chinese dominance and lock in developers. All right, folks, if that doesn't make you sit up a bit straighter, I don't know what will. We're talking about a massive bet from the hardware giant that's been powering so much of this AI boom. Stick around because we've got a ton to unpack today, from breakthroughs in medical imaging to no-code agents that could change how teams automate their work. Whether you're knee-deep in code or just trying to make sense of it all, I've got the specifics you need, plus some hands-on things to try right now. Let's dive in. So what you need to know today: Nvidia is dropping a whopping $26 billion over 5 years into open-weight AI models, which is basically their way of stepping in where closed players like OpenAI and Meta have left gaps in the open source world. This could supercharge innovation while keeping everything nicely tied to Nvidia's hardware. On top of that, Meta's showing off some clever architecture for handling noisy medical data, and we're seeing agent frameworks like Replit Agent 4 and Perplexity's personal computer pushing the envelope for knowledge work and local AI setups. Keep an eye this week on how these are making agent building accessible to non-experts and optimizing multi-agent systems for real efficiency in the wild. It's all about democratizing this tech and making it practical. Exciting stuff if you're building or just watching. Okay, top story time, and this one's a doozy. Nvidia just announced in an SEC filing that they're committing $26 billion over the next 5 years to develop open-weight AI models. For those not familiar, open-weight models are like the ones from Mistral or Llama. You get the model weights to run and tweak yourself, but they're not fully open source in the traditional sense. Nvidia's pivot here is strategic. They're eyeing the rise of Chinese open source models that are gaining traction, and they want to counter that while making sure developers stay hooked on their hardware ecosystem. Think tools like TensorRT for optimizing model inference or Triton Inference server for deploying them at scale. Nvidia's already got those, and this investment builds right on top. Compared to the closed ecosystems from OpenAI, Meta, or Anthropic, where you often pay per API call and have limited control, Nvidia's play could deliver more accessible models that are hardware optimized out of the gate. Imagine something akin to Llama, but tuned specifically for fast inference on Nvidia GPUs, especially in multimodal AI where their hardware shines, like processing images, video, and text together efficiently. We're talking potential for quantized versions, which means compressing the models to run lighter and faster on edge devices without losing much performance. For you developers out there, this is huge. If you've been relying on proprietary APIs for your apps, this could mean lower costs and more flexibility for custom fine-tuning, especially in areas like deploying AI on mobile or IoT devices. But fair warning, expect some of these models to play nicest with Nvidia's ecosystem, which might not be as seamless on AMD hardware. It's a smart lock-in strategy, but one that could accelerate open source innovation overall. Initial releases are expected in the coming months, so if you're building with open source LLMs, start thinking about how this might reduce your API bills and speed up your edge deployments. Just when you thought the hardware wars were cooling off, Nvidia's heating them right back up. I'm genuinely pumped to see what models they drop first. Shifting gears to model updates, we've got some fascinating stuff from Meta and beyond. First up, according to the Decoder, Meta's JEPA architecture, that's Joint Embedding Predictive Architecture, is making waves in noisy medical imaging. They've adapted it for cardiac ultrasound analysis, and it outperforms things like masked autoencoders or contrastive learning on benchmarks with messy, incomplete data. Standard methods often choke on distorted inputs, but JEPA's predictive style handles variability way better, nailing higher accuracy in tasks like analyzing echocardiograms. Why does this matter? If you're an AI practitioner in healthcare, this means more robust models for real-world diagnostics. No need for tons of fine-tuning to deal with noisy scans. You could integrate it with something like Hugging Face for quick deployment, turning it into a tool for faster, more reliable medical AI. It's a step toward AI that works in the imperfect conditions of actual hospitals, which is where the rubber meets the road. Staying with Meta, the Decoder also reports they've unveiled 4 generations of custom AI chips built specifically for inference. That's the part where you run the model to get outputs, not training it. These are designed to cut costs for serving billions of users, slashing reliance on general-purpose GPUs from Nvidia or AMD. Benchmarks show up to 2 times savings in cost for large-scale LLM deployment with lower latency and power draw. For infrastructure teams, this points to a trend of specialized silicon that might inspire open-source projects to follow suit, though right now it's locked into Meta's internal setup. If you're scaling AI services, keep this in mind. It's a hint that custom hardware could be the future for efficient, massive inference. And from cs.cl updates on arxiv.org, there's AraModern BERT, which tweaks the modern BERT encoder for Arabic language tasks. It uses trans-tokenized initialization, basically a smarter way to handle tokenization for scripts like Arabic, and supports up to 8,192 tokens for long context modeling. This crushes non-trans-tokenized baselines in things like masked language modeling, named entity recognition, NER, and question similarity. Compared to multilingual BERT, it tackles Arabic's unique script challenges way better, but yeah, training it needs serious compute. If you're working on non-English NLP, this is gold for building better retrieval augmented generation, RAG systems, or long context agents in Arabic-speaking regions. It's filling a real gap in diverse language support, and I'm excited to see how it integrates into broader ecosystems. Now, let's talk agents and tools. These are the frameworks and setups that let AI act more autonomously, like little digital workers. Kicking off with TechCrunch. Gumloop just snagged $50 million from Benchmark to let non-technical folks build AI agents for enterprise automation. It's a no-code interface that plugs into stuff like LangChain for custom workflows, going beyond specialized tools like Crew AI by making it dead simple for anyone to create agents. Think automating data processing or routine tasks without a dev team. It could slash development time big time. Their platform's in beta, so if you're in a team setting, give it a spin for building quick automation agents. It's all about scalability without needing expert skills. Next, from The Verge, Perplexity's rolling out Personal Computer, which turns a spare Mac into an always-on local AI agent. It uses large language models, LLMs, for things like research or automation, acting as your digital proxy with natural language chats. This improves on AutoGPT by running everything locally, no API fees, better privacy, but it's Mac only for now. If you're a developer, install it on a dedicated machine and prompt it for ongoing tasks like monitoring news feeds. It's a cool way to experiment with persistent private agents without cloud dependencies. And over on latent space, Replit Agent 4 is stepping up with advanced multi-agent features for coding and knowledge work. It builds on earlier versions with sharper tool calling and integrations for collaborative flows, outperforming basic agents in Microsoft AutoGen by managing complex, iterative tasks with minimal babysitting. If you're prototyping autonomous dev tools, hop on Replit's platform and try building a coding agent. It's perfect for those iterative workflows that used to require constant human tweaks. Honestly, the pace of these agent upgrades is wild. Just when you think you've got a handle on one, bam, version 4 drops with multiplayer smarts. For the practical and community side, we've got some gems from cs.ma updates on arxiv.org that are worth your time if you're hands-on. First, Kernel Skill is a multi-agent framework that uses LLMs to optimize GPU kernels. Those are the low-level code bits that run computations on graphics cards. It has a dual memory setup for reusing skills and tracking trajectories, delivering speedups from 1.92 times to 5.44 times over baselines like Torch Eager mode. This tackles the black box headaches in AI infrastructure, swapping heuristics for agent-driven expertise. Clone the GitHub repo and test it on your GPU setups. It's great for tuning inference pipelines, though you'll need LLM access and might tweak it for funky kernels. Then there's LLM Green Rec, an LLM-powered multi-agent recommender for e-commerce that pushes eco-friendly products. It analyzes user intents, refines prompts over iterations, and cuts down on energy waste and fluff interactions. Benchmarks show it beats traditional session-based systems by actually connecting green goals to buys. If sustainable AI is your jam, grab the code from ARXIV and try it on e-commerce datasets. It's researchy, so production might need tweaks, but it's a smart way to blend agents with real-world impact. And for a fun twist, Comic is an agentic framework that generates short comedic videos like a mini production studio. LLM agents handle scripting, critiquing, aligned with YouTube data for humor checks, and synthesis, hitting near pro levels. It goes beyond video tools like Runway by automating wild idea generation across agents. Check out the RXIV framework for your own video experiments, prompt it with character concepts, But heads up, it guzzles compute and might hallucinate outside tuned domains. I love how this shows agents getting creative. It's absurdly cool for prototyping fun content. All right, things to try this week. Let's make this actionable. If you haven't dabbled in no-code agents, jump into Gumloop's beta for building them into your workflow. It's a fast path to automating enterprise tasks without mastering LangChain, and it could save you hours on the repetitive stuff. Experiment with Ara Modern BERT on Hugging Face for Arabic NLP, like long context RAG. Stack it against multilingual BERT to feel those script handling wins firsthand. Test kernel skill on your GPU kernels by cloning the repo and benchmarking against Torch. It's a straightforward way to squeeze speedups from your inference setups. Set up Perplexity's personal computer on a spare Mac for local tasks like automated research. Great if privacy over cloud AP appeals to you. And for a creative break, play with Comic to generate AI comedy sketches. Start with some character ideas and see how multi-agent collab amps up the laughs over solo LLMs. On the horizon, watch for Nvidia's first open-weight model drops in Q2 2026. They'll likely be quantized for edge efficiency and baked into TensorRT. Expect more on Meta's custom chip rollouts, maybe with open-source inference tweaks by mid-year. Anticipate benchmarks from Replit Agent 4 hooking up with LangGraph for next-level knowledge agents. And look for community spins on LLM GreenRec and sustainable AI, perhaps at NeurIPS workshops coming up. Before we go, tomorrow, keep an eye on potential updates from Meta on open sourcing parts of their custom inference chips, which could shake up hardware-agnostic deployments. That's Models and Agents for March 12, 2026. If you found this useful, share it with someone who's trying to keep up with all these changes, and subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's update. The AI world moves fast. We'll help you keep up. See you tomorrow.